Well, morning boys and girls, hope you're all well. Well, that's getting near the end of the summer, soon be autumn, so it's time to adapt some heron nets. These are the heron nets I used last year. They're not the nets I use when I'm in a lot of bait. These are nets I use when there's tons. If you look at this mesh, that's quite a thick old mesh, that's 3Z, just 3Z twine. Normally a lot of the heron nets, ones that catch the best, are 2Z. These ones are good when there's a lot of bait, because the mesh don't dig into them so much and they're ever so easy to clean. But we found the last few years heron have started to swim a little bit deeper, so I'm going to modify these nets slightly. If you look at these nets, you can see the lead line along here, and there's the gill up the side of the net and the top rope. And if you look there, I've got a 5-foot strop. Obviously that's 5 foot from the floats to the head rope. Well, last year, because they sunk so easy, I added another float on, so I've got 2 floats on them now. But now I want to fish deeper. I really want to put a 10-foot strop on this year, so if I've got the original 5 foot and make a 5-foot extension, that should be ideal for what I want. So I'll be fish 10 foot below the surface. If I make a complete new strops up, then for me to change over to fish the shallower water again, because the fish, that seems to be in the beginning of the season, the fish swim deep, and then as you get near Christmas, and then they shoot the roe, it all comes spent, then they come in the shallow water. So you need the shallow ones, and there's no point in running off any distance into deep water, and you can catch them on your doorstep. So what I need to do is make an easily adaptable method. Obviously I've got the 5-foot strop here. I need to put another strop, join it on here, and join it onto the head rope so I can extend them. Then if I do it all by loops, I can change them over ever so quickly. Basically I can take all the strops off, shorten them, and put the original ones back on within probably half hour. So it's easy peasy. I don't want to make all new strops off, so I've got to chuck them all away. So I'm just going to extend these ones. Just going to put a little extension piece in, just to make them longer. All you do, undo the loop, slide it through the pellets, and you're done, they're off. So an extension piece, that easy. That's obviously what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get another bit of rope, put a splice both ends, then put it in. And I was just videoing then, I don't know if you could hear some scratching in the background. Well, that'll be these little buggers. And yeah, avoid their scratching, they're only young and they're daft as a brush, aren't you? And yeah, you're daft as a brush. Well, I'm going to join or make an extension with braided polypropylene rope. That's any cheapo stuff, but it's plenty good enough for what we want. You wouldn't use it to lift anything, but just for a food pellets, that ain't got to take any weight. A lot of people say when I splice this stuff, that ain't strong enough, it's dangerous, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, we're putting 1.5 kilos of buoyancy on this rope, so it ain't taking a lot of weight, is it? It can't take any more weight than a couple of kilos. You see it's braided, it's obviously hollow core, so you can splice it ever so easy. Like 3 core, you got to do a proper splice, but with this hollow stuff, you'll splice it with a selma fid in seconds. Ever so easy to do. Well, these are the selma fids. They're from a Norwegian company. Obviously Selma is a Norwegian company, and you can get a pack of 4 or you can buy a pack of 5 fids. Obviously this is only a pack of 4, my dad's got the pack of 5, but the bigger, this is 10mm, but the biggest one is 13 on the other set, and we don't really ever splice rope that thick, nothing more than 10, so I didn't bother buying the 5 pack. But they're a good little fid, and they show you can do conventional splices with them, or you can do the old braid on braid, or what I do with a hollow splice. You can do 2 different types of splices with this hollow braid. You can just splice it where it go inside of a salsas. inside and that, like when you pull on it, that pull tight on that, like the old Chinese finger malarkey. Or you can lock it, you can go round the self and then splice it in. But obviously I don't do that. You can do, but more of these little bits on here, the more chance a netting's going to catch on it. I mean, lifting no weight. If you do like a splice inside like that, then there's nothing to catch on, so you get a lot less frab ups using herring nets. Well, I got the 4 fids here. These sizes for these ones are not quite what I want. The smallest one is 4, the second one is 5.5mm, the third one is 7.5mm, and the fourth one is 10mm. Well, this is 7mm apparently, but the problem, if you use a 7.5mm, yeah, it's sliding there lovely, but because it's quite big, that's awkward to push through. That doesn't seem to stretch quite well enough, that go tight. So I always use the smaller one, was 5.5mm. Cut it off as a slight angle there. Put it inside and squeeze it down. There's a little tag in there. Put that nip on. This one's a little bit small, but that work. Then all you do is go inside. Obviously you got to guess the size of your loop. I want a loop, say 5-inch. So go in there, squeeze it along. So it's even a bit tight for this. And then come out now. This rope was a bit awkward. This rope's got a bit of a fluffy white core in it. This rope didn't used to have that, so it make it a bit awkward. This rope used to be completely hollow, but for some reason now they manufacture it with a bit of white fluff, catching the fid. What's it? Pull it back and pull it all back in. That's pretty good enough what I want. Alright, that's only in there, what's it, about 5 inches, but that's good enough what I want. Just manipulate it back down. This is just an extension piece, it's not for lifting any weight. So I get loads of people say you got to do so many times this and so much this, and it's not good for weights. But it ain't for lifting. All I'm doing it for is to extend some strops on a pellet on some nets. Everyone take life so seriously, hey-o. So obviously now I'm going to measure that, and I'll do the same the other end. On this rope, it's got that silly core in it. What's a pain in the bum for this? And whenever I buy this braided polypropylene before, it's never had it in it. So what I'm going to do, I'll just cut it, pull the end out, and cut it off. Problem solved. That's a pain in the bum, that is. That fluffy old stuff. So now, I was just going to do the other end. Hopefully this will make it easier. Push it in the fid. Squeeze it down. Go in. And come out again. In between. That's still caught on some of that white fluff. That is really a pain in the bum. I'm just going to cut it off. And just squeeze it up tight. So it's only in about 4 or 5 inches, but that's all I need. And that's the other end done. So now, put the extension piece on the head rope, and then loop to loop it to the original strop, up to the floats. So now I've got an easy removable strop addition, so I can easily take it out depending on how deep water I want to fish. Nothing hard about that, is there? So in the winter I'll leave the extension bit in, and in the spring I'll take the extension and leave the original strop there for the shallow water. That's easy enough, isn't it? Well, hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you later, boys and girls. Bye.